Chapter 423. Heavenly Pillar Seal. Taoist Lord Taisu hesitated for a moment. Taking a deep breath, he said solemnly, "Although I have always been kind to others as a refiner, the many magic treasures I've created have inevitably attracted envy and malice. Especially when the magic treasure is highly coveted. Some nascent soul or martial king powerhouses have coveted my magic treasures and even demanded them forcibly." He continued, "My conditions are simple. Firstly, you must become an honorary elder of the Taisu Treasure Pavilion. Just an honorary position and you won't be required to do anything. Only when the Taisu Treasure Pavilion faces life and death do we hope for your assistance. Secondly, there's a task for you. I once crafted a set of magic treasures named Vajra Chain. It's composed of 3 nascent soul magic treasures, making up one powerful nascent soul magic treasure. Its power is immense, arguably one of the strongest magic treasures I've ever made. However, it was borrowed by the 3 immortals of the 3 Immortals sect and has not been returned to this day. I hope you can retrieve this magic treasure from the hands of the 3 immortals." After Taoist Lord Taisu laid out his conditions, Lin Fei pondered over them. The conditions weren't excessive. The first was merely a ceremonial title at the Taisu Refining Pavilion, which posed no problem. As for the second, reclaiming a magic treasure from the Sanxian sect, especially one that the 3 immortals merely borrowed from Taoist Lord Taisu, seemed straightforward. It might just come down to a show of strength. As long as the opponents were at the nascent soul cultivator level, Lin Fei wasn't concerned. "Very well, I agree," Lin Fei responded. "Now, please start refining Heavenly Pillar Mountain. Craft it in the manner of the Great Mountain Divine Seal, so the final magic treasure can change its size while retaining unparalleled power." Having agreed to the terms, Taoist Lord Taisu nodded. "I will begin the refining process immediately. However, Taoist fellow Lin, you should stay nearby. During the refining process, we might need the Phoenix bloodline within you." With that, Taoist Lord Taisu began his work. The vastness of Heavenly Pillar Mountain, spanning hundreds of miles, left Lin Fei curious about the method Taoist Lord Taisu would employ. After all, this mountain was notoriously difficult to damage. How would he go about refining it? How to refine it? Taoist Lord Taisu led a group of Golden Core and Foundation Establishment Taoists, casting one spell seal after another. These seals were inscribed onto Heavenly Pillar Mountain. At first, there seemed to be no effect. However, as time went on, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, up to 5 days and more. Over a month, almost 2 months, in fact, was spent just inscribing these spell seals. By now, nearly every inch of Heavenly Pillar Mountain was covered in these inscriptions, which finally began to exhibit their power. With a jolt of Taoist Lord Taisu's spiritual power, the mountain began to tremble. "Shrink!" he shouted, and immediately, Heavenly Pillar Mountain began to gradually decrease in size. The process was slow, but the vast mountain indeed began to reduce. Taoist Lord Taisu was pleased with the progress and continued to cast his spells, chanting repeatedly, "Shrink, shrink, shrink." The hundreds of miles of Heavenly Pillar Mountain would soon reduce to just 100 miles, then dozens of miles, 10 miles, 9, 8, 7, 6. The shrinking process was swift. By the time the mountain was reduced to about a mile, Taoist Lord Taisu paused. "We've reached the limit," he declared. "Taoist fellow Lin, we need your Phoenix bloodline now. Drip it onto Heavenly Pillar Mountain." Lin Fei nodded. The true Phoenix blood inside him surged forward. "Go," he whispered, allowing the Phoenix blood to drop onto the mountain. The inscriptions on the mountain shone brightly, seemingly absorbing the true Phoenix blood until no trace was visible on the surface. As the true Phoenix blood manifested, Taoist Lord Taisu began to summon flames. Fire! Flames roared to life, with countless Golden Core true persons also channeling their energy to feed the blaze. For a magic treasure of this caliber, the combined effort of everyone in the Taisu Pavilion was necessary. Relying solely on Taoist Lord Taisu wouldn't suffice. Moreover, even with everyone's collective effort, Heavenly Pillar Mountain was no ordinary divine mountain. It was an ancient divine mountain, connected to both heaven and earth. Thus, the flames couldn't affect it easily. "Do you need my assistance, Taisu?" Lin Fei suddenly asked, noting he could also summon flames, not only the triple yin true fire but also the ultimate yang flame. It was just not the true flame. I appreciate your help, Lin, Taoist Lord Taisu replied, but please, follow my lead. Of course. With a thought from Lin Fei, the saber world descended. Fire. This was an ordinary flame. But within the saber world, Lin Fei's flames seemed endless, fiercely burning and overwhelming, engulfing the entire heavenly pillar mountain. How powerful these flames are! The power of Taoist Lin's flames alone seems to be more terrifying than all of ours combined. But this is good. We can refine Heavenly Pillar Mountain faster. Taoist Lord Taisu was taken aback. He hadn't expected Lin Fei's flames to be so formidable. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have struggled to summon flames himself. He would have directly sought Lin Fei's assistance. As the flames blazed, the surface of Heavenly Pillar Mountain began to melt. Taoist Lord Taisu continued to cast his spell seals. With the combination of these seals and Lin Fei's flames, the mountain started to tremble violently and shrink further. Each time the mountain shrank a little, Taoist Lord Taisu would have Lin Fei drop in more of the Phoenix bloodline. This cycle repeated nearly 20 times. With a resonating OM, Heavenly Pillar Mountain shuddered slightly and transformed into a magic treasure resembling a seal. It was just like the original Great Mountain Divine Seal. Moreover, after these 20-plus rituals involving the Phoenix blood, Lin Fei felt a deep connection to Heavenly Pillar Mountain. He could even control it merely by using the Phoenix blood. And no other bloodline would work, only the true Phoenix blood could control Heavenly Pillar Mountain. 2 months had passed. Taoist fellow Lin, your trust was not misplaced. The magic treasure is now complete. Taoist Lord Taisu exclaimed. It's done. Lin Fei looked at the seal-like peak in his hand, which was Heavenly Pillar Mountain. It appeared ancient and wild, emanating an age-old aura. This magic treasure was somewhat out of Taoist Lord Taisu's expertise, as he couldn't refine it completely. The best he could do was adjust its size. But even this feature was significant. It meant Lin Fei could carry Heavenly Pillar Mountain with him and in a battle simply hurl it at his opponents. For beings at the Martial King and Nascent Soul stages, the mountain was nearly indestructible. It would hit its mark with surety every time. Aside from top-tier martial kings like Lin Fei, who could withstand its impact. The previous Great Mountain Divine Seal from the Tai Dao Palace was somewhat similar. However, its base was nowhere near the caliber of Heavenly Pillar Mountain. Taoist fellow Lin, this magic treasure is now refined. Though it requires a blood sacrifice, any Phoenix bloodline can control it. It's also very convenient if you wish to gift it to someone. Do you have a name in mind for this magic treasure? Taoist Lord Taisu inquired. Let's call it the Heavenly Pillar Seal, Lin Fei responded, having thought of the name beforehand. He promptly stored Heavenly Pillar Mountain and said to Taoist Lord Taisu, "Thank you for your efforts, Taoist Lord Taisu. I must now visit the Three Immortals sect and retrieve the Vajra chain." Without delay, Lin Fei transformed into a beam of light and vanished into the horizon. Chapter 424. The Descent upon Three Immortals City. The Three Immortals sect, though named Three Immortals, truly refers to three nascent soul cultivators. The ultimate goal of the immortal Tao is ascension. Only through ascension could one achieve eternal vision, truly basking in boundless freedom and serenity. However, the three immortals of the Three Immortals sect were not truly immortals. They were three nascent soul cultivators. Their origins were shrouded in mystery. Yet, united, they founded the Three Immortals sect. Though it boasted a mere few millennia of history. With the support of the Three Immortals, each an apex nascent soul ascendant, the Three Immortals sect became renowned. Expanding ceaselessly, the Three Immortals sect encountered no adversity. Even the vast void Immortal sect paled in comparison before them. After all, the might of three apex nascent soul ascendants was profoundly intimidating. Thus, the present-day Three Immortals sect had grown colossal. Many of its disciples became arrogant and domineering, wielding unrestrained power across the ancient continent. This led to a decline in the sect's reputation. Yet, the Three Immortals seemed indifferent to fame. For the Three Immortals themselves bore tarnished names. Even a paragon of virtue like Taoist Lord Taisu had his nascent soul magical artifact borrowed by force by the three immortals. One could imagine their customary dominance. With a swish, Lin Fei arrived outside the three immortals' city. The three immortals sect was not perched upon a mountain peak. Instead, they established the three immortals city, which was quite down to earth. However, at a glance, Lin Fei discerned chaos. All sorts of characters, imposters among genuine ones, a mixture of dragons and snakes, lurked within the confines of the three immortals city. The three immortals sect turned a blind eye. To be precise, the three immortals ignored it all. They seemed solely focused on their cultivation. In fact, they had no specific plans for the three immortals sect. They used the sect merely as a tool to amass various treasures, aiding their cultivation. Their ambition lay in achieving deity transformation. From this perspective, the three immortals indeed had great ambitions. Many nascent soul cultivators, in reality, upon reaching the nascent soul stage, no longer harbored the ambition to advance further. Everyone knew achieving deity transformation was arduous. How could one easily aspire to deity transformation? Better to live freely for 10,000 years. Yet, while the three immortals were indeed domineering, they possessed a fervent spirit, aiming for deity transformation. Lin Fei noticed that outside the three immortals city, many cultivators ceased flying. Instead, they walked into the city. Evidently, this was the rule of three immortals city. No flying was permitted above the city. No one dared defy the city's regulations. However, Lin Fei wasn't in the three immortals city to seek opportunities or join the three immortals sect. He was there to retrieve an item. And so, Lin Fei stood, hands behind his back, step by step, he slowly approached the three immortals city. He didn't walk on the ground, but through the void, right above the three immortals city. For a moment, many took notice of Lin Fei, hovering above the city. Here, some fool dares to breach the customs, flying brazenly over the expanse of the three immortals city. That man is doomed. The laws of the three immortals city are stringent. Those who dare to soar its skies are sentenced to death on sight. Indeed, whence does this audacious one hail? Is he not aware that even a nascent soul great being would be executed for flying over the city? Perhaps he's journeyed from distant lands, utterly ignorant of the city's ordinances. Throughout the three immortals city, murmurs and discussions arose. Yet, none stepped forth to caution him. Instead, they watched with anticipatory glee. How dare you? Those who trespass the three immortals city shall meet an unforgiving end. At that moment, a contingent of golden core true persons swiftly emerged from the heart of the city. They were the enforcers of the three immortals sect. Lin Fei's eyes turned icy. Boom. A radiant white aura erupted from Lin Fei in an instant. The Saber World. Lin Fei summoned the Saber World without hesitation. The moment it manifested, it enveloped the entirety of the three immortals city. Within the Saber World, Lin Fei reigned as the omnipotent sovereign. Hence, those golden core true persons, barely airborne, found themselves paralyzed in mid-flight as if ensnared by unseen chains. Within the city were seasoned cultivators with vast experience. The encompassing white radiance hinted at isolation from the outer realm. They quickly pieced together the puzzle. It's the Saber World. Such a formidable Saber World, could it be the perfect Saber World? Within the Saber World, a mere whim of its master would spell our doom. Is this not some rule-breaking cultivator, but a peerless martial king? Is he challenging the three immortals sect? For a moment, many turned ashen-faced, gripped by panic. Yet, within the Saber World, they dared not twitch. They wouldn't even consider attacking the Saber World, fearful of misunderstanding by its lord. A mere thought and their lives would be extinguished. Who dares to stir trouble in the three immortals city? Then, three figures ascended from a secret chamber within the city, hovering in the void. The three immortals of the three immortals sect, all were top-tier nascent soul great beings. At that moment, they confronted Lin Fei from a distance. Saber World. Of late, in the ancient continent, a formidable martial king has risen. Commander of the Saber World, slayer of the Peacock King, annihilator of the vast void immortal sect, and joined forces with the Phoenix Spirit King. You must be the renowned ancient origin Saber King, Lin Fei. One of the top-tier nascent soul great beings slowly intoned. It is I, Lin Fei. He neither evaded nor hid. By now, his reputation had grown vast, echoing across the entire ancient continent. That the three immortals recognized him was no great matter. "Lin, my doused fellow," one of them began, his voice glacial, "you come to the three immortals' city, immediately unleashing the saber world. What business do you have here, coming with such an overwhelming presence?" Lin Fei responded evenly, simple. "I am here on someone's behalf to retrieve the Vajra chain. It's been quite a while since you've borrowed the Vajra chain from Taoist Lord Taisu. Isn't it time you return it?" The mention of the Vajra chain caused a subtle shift in the expressions of the three immortals. They remembered it well. They had forcefully borrowed it from Taoist Lord Taisu and had no intentions of ever giving it back. While Taoist Lord Taisu had many allies, who would dare risk offending the three immortals? After all, these beings were among the pinnacle of nascent soul great beings. However, they hadn't expected that Taoist Lord Taisu would engage the services of the ancient origin Saber King, Lin Fei. Lin Fei had vanquished the Peacock King, eradicated the vast Void Immortal sect, and more crucially, his strength rivaled that of top-tier martial kings. Furthermore, Lin Fei's partner, Feng Ling, was also a martial king of the same caliber. Essentially, they represented the combined force of two top-tier martial kings. Even if the three immortals combined their powers, it remained uncertain whether they could suppress both Lin Fei and the Phoenix Spirit King. The countenance of the three immortals darkened. One of them, his voice deep and resonant, remarked, "Lin Fei, it's true that we borrowed the Vajra chain from Taoist Lord Taisu. But how does this concern you? Do you truly wish to interfere in this matter?" Instead of giving in, the three immortals turned the tables and began to question Lin Fei's intentions. Lin Fei, unwavering, responded, "I currently hold the title of Honorary Elder at the Taisu Treasure Pavilion. Their matters are mine. This affair, I'll handle it." His gaze steady, Lin Fei stared directly at the three immortals, exuding an aura of unyielding authority. Both parties were forceful in their own right. For a moment, none spoke, and the atmosphere grew increasingly tense. Chapter 425. Bursting the Three Immortals' Magic Avatar. Three Immortals' Magic Avatar. In an instant, the three immortals took action simultaneously. An endless surge of spiritual chi converged, giving birth to three nascent soul magic avatars. Moreover, these bodies immediately took their positions, forming an arcane array. This formation subtly funneled the power of the three nascent soul magic avatars into a single entity. And these weren't just any magic bodies, they were the pinnacle of nascent soul magic avatars. The ability of the three immortals to dominate and traverse without challenge was largely due to their magic avatars. Even a top-tier martial king or a nascent soul great being would usually face defeat when confronting them. They would flee in disarray or risk being annihilated by the three immortals' magic avatars. With a swift slash, Lin Fei's saber world crumbled under the might of the three immortals' magic avatars. Their power was earth-shattering. The trio, seemingly overbearing, truly had the strength to back up their audacity. Even if Taoist Lord Taisu combined the power of the 9 nascent soul cultivators, they might not be a match for Lin Fei. Lin Fei's 6 bloodlines, even if fully unleashed, probably wouldn't compare to the might of the 3 immortals' magic avatars. Yet, Lin Fei was not afraid. He wasn't interested in a prolonged battle of attrition with the 3 immortals. He wanted to dominate them completely and crush them utterly. Earth Pulse Divine Mountain Spirit Communication Bloodline. Triple Yin True Fire Bloodline. Annihilation Frost Bloodline. Grandian Windao Bloodline. Suddenly, 4 bloodlines manifested around Lin Fei. With a thunderous roar, Lin Fei unleashed his true martial king form, fully activating all 4 bloodlines. Representing the elemental forces of earth, fire, water, and wind, they were the bloodlines of the 4 symbols. At this moment, these bloodlines erupted in power, gradually merging within Lin Fei's true martial king form. His already massive true martial king form expanded further, swelling dramatically to a colossal size of 100,000 meters. Previously, Lin Fei's true martial king form was roughly the same size as the 3 immortals' magic avatars, perhaps slightly smaller. However, as his form expanded to 100,000 meters, filled with the overwhelming power of the 4 symbols, it became truly awe-inspiring. This towering true martial king form of Lin Fei looked down condescendingly at the 3 immortals' magic avatars. And then, with a deafening crash, the scene shifted. The fist of the three immortals' magic avatar slammed into Lin Fei's true martial king form. Following the strike, Lin Fei's form quaked continually. But after the trembling subsided, calm returned. Lin Fei remained unharmed. It must be understood that this was the magic avatar of the three immortals, merging the power of their three nascent soul powers. What top-tier martial king or nascent soul could possibly withstand a blow from the three immortals' magic avatar? And yet, Lin Fei emerged completely unscathed. It's impossible. How can your true martial king form be this powerful? Is this still even a true martial king form? Shock coursed through the three immortals. However, before they could recover from their astonishment, Lin Fei's 100,000 meters true martial king form launched a massive palm strike. Boom! In this palm strike, Lin Fei utilized the power of the four symbols. It wasn't just pure strength, it contained the might of the four bloodlines. The force of the four symbols, combined with the raw power, landed instantly on the three nascent soul magic avatars. Splatter! In an instant, more than half of the three immortals' magic avatars were obliterated. Lin Fei's single strike decimated almost 70 to 80% of their nascent soul magic avatars. It was absolute annihilation, obliteration down to the particle level. Another strike and the magic avatars of the three immortals would be destroyed. But how was this possible? They were top-tier nascent soul great beings. Even if these were magic avatars, they were top-tier nascent soul magic avatars. How could they not withstand even a single strike from Lin Fei? At most, 2 strikes and their magic avatars would collapse. This far exceeded their expectations. However, as shocked as the three immortals were, Lin Fei was even more stunned. In the past, facing the three immortals, Lin Fei would deploy every skill at his disposal, the saber world, the bloodlines, and more. And it would take a considerable amount of time and energy with no guaranteed victory. After all, the three immortals were not weaklings. But now, having unleashed the 4 bloodlines of earth, fire, water, and wind, Lin Fei witnessed a new power born from their fusion, the power of the 4 symbols. Under the force of the 4 symbols, the magic avatars of the three immortals were as fragile as paper, easily torn by Lin Fei. With this power, Lin Fei could shatter the three immortals' magic avatars with just 2 strikes. The might of the 4 symbols surpassed even Lin Fei's expectations. He even wondered whether this power still belonged to the martial king realm. Of course, this was a benefit. Now, with his own strength, Lin Fei could overpower the three immortals. And so, he launched another palm strike. With this strike, the magic avatars of the three immortals would surely crumble. Clearly aware of their peril, the three immortals recognized that once their nascent soul magic avatars collapsed, none of their other magical techniques would be able to withstand Lin Fei's might. Vajra Chain. In the next moment, the three immortals conjured the Vajra Chain. Buzz. The Vajra Chain was a series of circular, ring-shaped magic treasures. At this moment, these ring-shaped treasures started to interconnect, hinting at a deeper unity. Bang! Lin Fei's palm came down, striking the Vajra Chain. With Lin Fei's current strength, especially the power of the 4 symbols, it was nearly invincible. No force at the nascent soul level could withstand Lin Fei's power of the 4 symbols. Yet, the Vajra Chain held firm. Even though Lin Fei's strike pushed the Vajra Chain to its limits, it didn't break. It truly held its own. Lin Fei was slightly taken aback. He took a closer look at the Vajra Chain and realized it was composed of 9 magic treasures, each a nascent soul magic treasure. Lin Fei's strike hit one of them, but the force was dispersed among the remaining 8. The strength of his palm was absorbed and distributed amongst the 9 magic treasures, which is why the Vajra Chain could withstand it. What a good treasure! Lin Fei acknowledged the exceptional quality of the Vajra Chain. No wonder Taoist Lord Taisu was so obsessed with it, wanting to take it back. Such a clever design and exceptional magic treasure was indeed extraordinary. Even if it was a magic treasure of the nascent soul level, in some respects, it was close to a god-tier level. The 3 immortals possessed such a powerful treasure, how could they be willing to part with it? However, Lin Fei still intended to reclaim the Vajra Chain. Do you think only you possess magic treasures? Don't I have one too? Lin Fei's voice echoed in the void. Everyone was amazed. After all, Lin Fei was merely a martial king. Could a martial king also possess a magic treasure? Next, Lin Fei reached out his hand, and in his palm appeared a seal, the heavenly pillar seal, enveloped in a dim glow. Go. Lin Fei casually threw the heavenly pillar seal into the air. Boom. The heavenly pillar seal grew rapidly upon contact with the wind. In the blink of an eye, it transformed into a mountain range spanning hundreds of miles. The sky darkened instantly under its shadow. An oppressive aura enveloped the entire Three Immortals city. What kind of magic treasure is this? Could it be another treasure crafted by Taoist Lord Taisu? Damn, the oppressive force of this magic treasure is terrifying. Fear gripped the Three Immortals. They felt a looming sense of death with the appearance of the heavenly pillar seal. It seemed that once the seal landed, they would be doomed. But there was no stopping it, for the heavenly pillar seal was already descending. Chapter 426. Lin Fei strikes down the Three Immortals. Lin Fei's heavenly pillar seal ruthlessly descended upon the Vajra chain. The heavenly pillar mountain, a range stretching hundreds of miles, was an incomparably heavy ancient divine mountain. It suddenly bore down upon the Vajra chain, causing it to be flattened and compressed to its limits. Yet, miraculously, it held. But Lin Fei's arsenal was not limited to just the heavenly pillar mountain. As the heavenly pillar mountain suppressed the Vajra chain, Lin Fei, in his true martial king form, once again reached out, aiming a fierce blow at the Three Immortals. No, came a cry as Lin Fei's palm, vast as it blotted out the sky, crashed down upon the Three Immortals. The sound of impact was sharp, a squelch. Though the Three Immortals had protective measures and other magical treasures, aside from the Vajra chain, what other magical artifact could withstand a blow infused with Lin Fei's power of the Four Symbols? When his palm met their forms, the force of the Four Symbols exploded with great intensity. All their defenses, like the Triplean True Fire and the Grandian Wind, erupted in a mere instant. The nascent souls of the Three Immortals were swiftly obliterated. Lin Fei was truly intent on killing. Recognizing the threat the Three Immortals posed, once he'd gauged their strength, there was no way he would allow them to remain. Thus, seizing the opportunity, he annihilated them. With the death of the Three Immortals, the Vajra chain fell into Lin Fei's possession. His objective was achieved. Lin Fei then retracted the heavenly pillar seal. The seal, because of the Vajra chain's interference, had not completely descended, thus, in a way, saving the Three Immortals city. Without the Vajra chain, had the heavenly pillar seal fallen, with hundreds of miles of mountainous mass crashing down, would there have been a Three Immortals city left? It would likely have been crushed into dust by the heavenly pillar mountain, leaving no soul in the city untouched. With the Three Immortals dead, Lin Fei had no intention of destroying the Three Immortals city. There was no meaning in such an act. The Three Immortals city was different from the vast Void Immortals sect. The cohesion of the Three Immortals sect was almost non-existent. Upon the death of the Three Immortals, it would immediately collapse. However, Lin Fei wasn't about to let the Three Immortals sect off without extracting a price. The Three Immortals are dead, he declared. If you wish to live, present the treasures of nature brimming with life force. If I am pleased, I may spare the Three Immortals sect. Lin Fei's voice echoed over the Three Immortals city. Chaos reigned within. They had witnessed all that had transpired. The Three Immortals were dead, three top-tier nascent soul great beings gone. To them, this seemed an unfathomable event. But it was reality. The death of the Three Immortals signified danger for the city. Moreover, they realized they were in the presence of an unparalleled formidable foe. Failing to meet Lin Fei's demands would doom the Three Immortals city. Quickly, go search for the heavenly materials and earthly treasures filled with vitality. At any cost, we must find these treasures. The Three Immortals have died, we don't want to join them in death. For the sake of survival, many golden core true persons sprang into action. Lin Fei cultivates the endless vitality greenwood bloodline, which requires a massive amount of treasures full of vitality. If he could obtain them from Three Immortals city, it would be wonderful. Soon after, numerous golden core true persons from Three Immortals city came forward, presenting a plethora of treasures in front of Lin Fei. Lin Fei beckoned, and these treasures landed in his hands. Taking a brief glance, he nodded in satisfaction. Indeed, the Three Immortals sect and even the entire Three Immortals city had gathered an impressive amount of these treasures. No one dared to deceive Lin Fei, therefore, everyone was fully committed. Both the Three Immortals sect and city were nearly emptied of their treasures. From today onwards, the Three Immortals sect must disband. If I ever hear of the existence of the Three Immortals sect again, I will definitely obliterate it. With that, Lin Fei turned into a beam of light, disappearing into the horizon. He didn't bother to annihilate the Three Immortals sect. With just a word, he could cause the complete collapse of the sect without lifting a finger. Holding the Vajra chain, Lin Fei returned to the Taisu treasure pavilion and met Taoist Lord Taisu. Taoist Lord, I have obtained the Vajra chain, Lin Fei said, handing it over immediately. Upon receiving it, Taoist Lord Taisu's face lit up with joy. But after a closer examination, he frowned. Why is the Vajra chain cracked? It's full of fissures, as if it was crushed by an immense force. But what kind of force could possibly break the Vajra chain? Taoist Lord Taisu found it unbelievable. He knew very well the strength of the Vajra chain, as he crafted it himself. Damaging it would be extremely difficult, especially for those at the martial king or nascent soul stages. Yet, the facts were in front of him. It was damaged. Lin Fei casually responded, perhaps it was damaged during my battle with the Three Immortals. I used the Heavenly Pillar Seal to suppress the Vajra chain, allowing me to defeat the three. Both the Vajra chain and the Heavenly Pillar Seal are indeed top-tier magic treasures. Lin Fei praised the Heavenly Pillar Seal. What? You used the Heavenly Pillar Seal to suppress the Vajra chain. So that's why the Vajra chain has some damages. And what about the Three Immortals? How could they have let this go? Taoist Lord Taisu continued to inquire. He knew very well the strength of the Vajra chain. However, he was even more aware of the formidable power of the Heavenly Pillar Seal. Taoist Lord Taisu had initially thought that nothing could damage the Vajra chain, but the Heavenly Pillar Seal did. And even managed to leave it in a damaged state. But all of this wasn't what concerned him. What truly mattered was how the Three Immortals reacted. This was the part that worried Taoist Lord Taisu. The Three Immortals. I have slain them, Lin Fei said calmly. You've slain the Three Immortals. Even if Taoist Lord Taisu had high expectations of Lin Fei, he was completely astounded upon hearing this. He was deeply shocked. The Three Immortals had fallen. They were defeated by Lin Fei. It's well known that the Three Immortals were top-tier nascent soul great beings. Furthermore, the nascent soul magic bodies of the Three Immortals could collaborate. Even someone at the martial king level would find it challenging to defeat the Three Immortals, let alone kill them. Otherwise, with Taoist Lord Taisu's vast network and connections over the years, why would the Three Immortals have remained unbeatable? It's because the Three Immortals were too strong, their reputation too immense. No one was confident enough to handle them. But now, all three were defeated at the hands of Lin Fei. Though it seemed unbelievable, Taoist Lord Taisu did not think Lin Fei would joke about such a matter. The Three Immortals were most likely truly dead. Taoist Lord Taisu never expected that the issue of the Three Immortals, which had troubled him for so many years, would be resolved by Lin Fei just like that. For a moment, he was somewhat silent. Taoist Lord Taisu, I shall take my leave now, Lin Fei said. If you need anything, you can find me at the Ancient Origin sect. With that, Lin Fei transformed into a beam of light, vanishing into the horizon. Chapter 427. The 3-month deadline has arrived. Lin Fei returned to the Ancient Origin sect. His trip took just over 2 months. With nearly half a month left for the 3-month deadline. Elder, everything is ready. Upon seeing Lin Fei's return, the sect master of the Ancient Origin sect immediately approached him with a list. Since they were forming a Dao companion relationship with Feng Ling, this wasn't just an affair between Lin Fei and Feng Ling but also between the Ancient Origin sect and the Feng family. Though cultivators didn't bother much with formalities, once they formed Dao companionship, there was usually an exchange of precious gifts between the two parties. Lin Fei glanced at the list. It contained various treasures to enhance bloodline potency. For a martial king family, any treasure that could strengthen or awaken bloodlines was considered the most precious. The Ancient Origin sect had clearly put in a lot of effort. Such gifts, Lin Fei believed, would surely satisfy the Feng family. Thank you, sect master. These gifts will suffice. Lin Fei nodded in approval. However, the Ancient Origin sect master seemed slightly discontented. Elder, we in the Ancient Origin sect have searched for a long time and believe that we should also find an exceptional treasure, the sect master said. But even after searching for over 2 months, we couldn't find a suitable bloodline magic treasure. Lin Fei smiled lightly, no need to look further. I have already prepared a bloodline magic treasure. You've prepared one. That's wonderful. Now, there should be no mishaps, and it won't embarrass both our Ancient Origin sect and you, Elder. The sect master of the Ancient Origin sect sighed in relief. The union of Lin Fei and Feng Ling was a significant event, and he had tried his best to ensure everything went perfectly. All right, once the time comes, we will visit the Feng family, Lin Fei declared, and then retreated to his cave dwelling. Inside, Lin Fei took out the numerous rare treasures he had obtained from the 3 immortal city. All of them were rich in vitality. He began to use them, invoking his true martial king form, channeling his endless vitality greenwood bloodline and absorbing the essence of the vast amount of rare treasures. Devour. In an instant, Lin Fei consumed these treasures, refining them with his endless vitality greenwood bloodline. A tremendous vitality fused with his bloodline, accelerating the progress of his greenwood bloodline cultivation. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Lin Fei absorbed a significant amount of vitality-rich treasures. Finally, with a tremor throughout his body, his endless vitality greenwood bloodline broke through, advancing from beginner level to mastery. Lin Fei didn't find it too challenging. Perhaps the only inconvenience was the massive consumption of vitality-rich treasures. One must know that these treasures were the accumulated wealth of the entire 3 immortal sect, a sect with a renowned reputation across the ancient continent, known for its vast collection of treasures. So, Lin Fei continued to consume a large number of these heavenly treasures. However, the quantity he required was vast. All the treasures he brought from the 3 immortal sect were integrated into his bloodline. As a result, he still fell short of reaching transcendence. System, Lin Fei summoned the system to check. Host, Lin Fei. Martial Realm, Late Stage Martial King. Supreme Saber Dao Bloodline, Perfection. Grand Yin Wind Dao Bloodline, Perfection. Triple Yin True Fire Bloodline, Perfection. Supreme Yang Heavenly Thunder Bloodline, Perfection. Annihilation Frost Bloodline, Perfection. Earth Pulse Divine Mountain Spirit Communication Bloodline, Perfection. Endless Vitality Greenwood Bloodline, Mastery, 82%. Lin Fei's Endless Vitality Greenwood Bloodline was just a bit away from transcendence. Consuming a few more heavenly treasures should allow it to achieve transcendence. However, for Lin Fei, reaching transcendence didn't make much of a difference or hold significant meaning. What Lin Fei hoped for was to directly enhance it to perfection. Only by achieving perfection could he cultivate the 8th bloodline. But time was running out. The 3-month deadline was approaching rapidly. At this moment, it was not feasible for Lin Fei to leave. All he could do was wait patiently. Once he arrives at the Feng family and forms a Dao companionship with Feng Ling, he can find ways to obtain more treasures. For now, Lin Fei could only meditate in peace. Time flew by, and soon the 3-month deadline arrived. Lin Fei left his cave dwelling, prepared to head to the Feng family. This time, he was accompanied by 8 martial sovereigns and over 100 martial saints, carrying numerous gifts. With such grandeur, they headed towards the Feng family. After all, this event had to be grand. Otherwise, it wouldn't just be a loss of face for Lin Fei, but also for Feng Ling. The Feng family's residence was already brightly decorated. News of the upcoming union had spread over the past 3 months. Those who needed to know were already informed. Thus, over time, many had arrived at the Feng family's residence. Being a martial king family, the Feng family had deep foundations and ample space to accommodate many guests. However, they were particularly interested in significant figures, especially those of the nascent soul realm, martial king realm, and even top-tier nascent soul cultivators and martial kings. Report, someone announced. Ancient Origin Saber King killed 3 immortals in the 3 immortal city. This news is from a few days ago. Everyone witnessed it. Due to a single statement from the Ancient Origin Saber King, the 3 immortal sect is currently falling apart and has completely collapsed. Members of the Feng family hurriedly reported this to Feng Ling. Feng Ling was slightly taken aback. The three immortals. Naturally, Feng Ling knew who they were. They were top-tier nascent soul great beings. She inquired further about the details. Upon learning that Lin Fei easily defeated and killed the three immortals with overwhelming strength, a hint of surprise appeared in her heart. She realized that Lin Fei's strength had increased again. In such a short period, his power had improved further. Perhaps, when Lin Fei mentioned a decade, he might not even need that long to challenge the martial gods. Leader, there's another matter, but I'm unsure if it's appropriate to mention. A Feng family elder hesitated. Speak. The elder seemed reluctant, but after glancing at Feng Ling, he mustered up the courage and said, "We receive news from the Vermilion Bird clan. Shen Guanfei will personally visit our Feng family. He seems to have intentions towards you, leader. I fear he doesn't come with good intentions this time." Feng Ling raised an eyebrow and then slightly smiled. "If Shen Guanfei wants to come, let him. Moreover, he's a smart man. If he knows that the three immortals fell to Lin Fei, he will naturally know what to do. No matter who wishes to visit the Feng family, don't stop them. Let them come. Lin Fei is bound to challenge the martial gods. If one doesn't have the determination to dominate the ancient continent, how can one achieve the rank of martial gods? You all underestimate Lin Fei too much," Feng Ling asserted with firm conviction. She had great confidence in Lin Fei and believed that he would undoubtedly achieve the rank of martial god. Before challenging the martial gods, meeting and even overpowering the martial kings and nascent soul cultivators of the ancient continent would certainly benefit Lin Fei, even aiding his future pursuits. Even though Feng Ling hadn't officially formed a Dao companionship with Lin Fei, she had already considered everything for him. Very well, in that case, let's open the doors of the Feng family wide. Let those who wish to come witness the glory of our Feng family and the ancient origin sect. The Feng family elder, Feng Jieshun, also had a gleam in his eyes, filled with great aspirations. He believed that soon, the Feng family would be renowned throughout the ancient realm. He, like Feng Ling, believed in Lin Fei's capability to suppress all opposition. As long as it's within the martial king or nascent soul realm, Lin Fei would fear no one. He could even dominate an era. Chapter 428. A name that intimidates numerous great beings. The Feng family's residence grew increasingly lively. Many nascent soul cultivators and martial kings had arrived. Even individuals who had little to no association with the Feng family showed up, such as Taoist Lord Taisu. When Taoist Lord Taisu arrived, many were taken aback. Though his strength wasn't considered the best and he wasn't even a top-tier nascent soul, Taoist Lord Taisu's identity was truly extraordinary. He was a renowned master of artifact crafting. Given his extensive network of connections, no one dared to offend him. Angering Taoist Lord Taisu could draw the ire of countless powerful individuals. Perhaps a powerful martial king or a nascent soul cultivator owed him a favor. That would spell trouble. As a result, Taoist Lord Taisu's standing was unique, even surpassing most top-tier nascent soul cultivators. Though the Feng family was a long-standing clan of martial kings, they had no notable interaction with Taoist Lord Taisu. As he arrived, Taoist Lord Taisu subtly smiled and announced, "Master of the Taisu Treasure Pavilion, Taoist Lord Taisu presents 3 bloodline magic treasures as a token of celebration." His statement stunned both the Feng family and their guests. What? 3 bloodline magic treasures? Taoist Lord Taisu truly lives up to his reputation as a master crafter, such a grand gesture. When did the Feng family start associating with Taoist Lord Taisu? And to offer 3 bloodline magic treasures right off the bat is simply astonishing. Yes, 3 bloodline magic treasures are indeed a rarity. If these treasures are all of nascent soul caliber, then the depth of the Feng family is truly unfathomable. They managed to get such respect from Taoist Lord Taisu without making any noise. Many whispered amongst themselves for a time, believing that the Feng family's background was profound. Had Feng Ling not formed a Dao companionship with Lin Fei, they would have never guessed the close ties between the Feng family and Taoist Lord Taisu. However, the Feng family's higher-ups were puzzled. They couldn't recall any past interactions with Taoist Lord Taisu. Except the gifts, Feng Ling spoke up. Taoist Lord Taisu must be a friend of Lin Fei. Her words brought clarity to the situation. Taoist Lord Taisu nodded in acknowledgement. Indeed, Brother Lin is an honorary elder of my Taisu treasure pavilion and has greatly aided me. Has Brother Lin not arrived yet? Looking around, he couldn't spot Lin Fei. Lin Fei might take some time, Feng Ling responded, inviting Taoist Lord Taisu to take a seat. Being a top-tier martial king herself, her reception was a mark of great respect. The realization struck the attendees. It was Lin Fei. The ancient origin saber king, Lin Fei, was actually an honorary elder of the Taisu treasure pavilion. Even Taoist Lord Taisu came personally to congratulate them and brought with him 3 bloodline magic treasures. This was a gesture of the highest regard, reflecting Taoist Lord Taisu's respect for Lin Fei. As the event proceeded, more individuals, nascent soul cultivators, and martial kings associated with Lin Fei or the ancient origin sect continued to arrive. The Vermilion Bird clan, Shangguan Feiyu, has arrived. At that moment, another voice echoed. The entire Feng clan became silent. The representatives of the Vermilion Bird clan had arrived. Moreover, it was Shangguan Feiyu himself. Once, Shangguan Feiyu wished to become Dao companions with Feng Ling. This was a well-known fact. Yet, Feng Ling looked down on Shangguan Feiyu from the Vermilion Bird clan. Unexpectedly, at such a moment, Shangguan Feiyu had personally come. What was the meaning of this? To embarrass Lin Fei and Feng Ling. This is going to be entertaining. What's Shangguan Feiyu doing here? The Vermilion Bird clan isn't only represented by Shangguan Feiyu, the martial king. If Shangguan Feiyu didn't wish to come, sending someone else would have sufficed. Why did he come in person? Yet, Shangguan Feiyu's demeanor wasn't arrogant. It was calm. Yes, very calm. He presented a gift. Looking at the Feng Ling, he sighed deeply. Lin Fei has slain 3 immortals, almost annihilating the 3 immortals sect. Feng Ling, your choice was right. I am nowhere close to the ancient origin saber king. After returning, I will go into seclusion. If I do not become a martial god, I will no longer roam outside. Having said this, Shangguan Feiyu turned around and left. Just like that. For a moment, many were looking at each other in confusion. He left. Shangguan Feiyu just left. He traveled such a great distance just to leave like that. Did Shangguan Feiyu say that if he doesn't become a martial god, he won't journey outside? Ancient origin saber king Lin Fei hasn't even shown up yet, and Shangguan Feiyu got scared off. Ancient origin saber king has slain 3 immortals, almost wiping out the 3 immortals sect. No wonder Shangguan Feiyu admits his inferiority, even fleeing before meeting Lin Fei. 3 immortals sector. That's a top-tier nascent soul lineage. The 3 immortals were top-tier nascent soul great beings. With the departure of Shangguan Feiyu, many were deeply shocked. He also revealed staggering news. The 3 immortals had been slain by Lin Fei. This news hadn't spread widely yet. Only some well-informed powers knew. As a result, even those who hadn't planned to visit the Feng clan came. They came mainly because they heard of Lin Fei's act of killing the 3 immortals. The impact was just too great. If even the 3 immortals could be slain, who in the nascent soul or martial king realm could stand against Lin Fei? Despite Lin Fei not having appeared yet, his fame had already subdued many powers. Many came to congratulate the Feng clan. Even Shangguan Feiyu was deeply affected, leaving in disgrace. Watching Shangguan Feiyu and the Vermilion Bird clan leave, Taoist Lord Taisu was also filled with emotion. The incident with the 3 immortals was all too clear to him. He hadn't expected Lin Fei's reputation to grow so quickly. Now, with just his name alone, countless were in awe, even submission. In the past, even standout nascent soul or martial king great beings never instilled fear like Lin Fei. Those top nascent soul cultivators or martial kings, no matter how powerful, found it challenging to slay their peers, but not Lin Fei. Starting from his annihilation of the vast void immortal sect, he had killed many nascent soul cultivators, even top-tier ones. Like distant cloud Taoist Lord, Peacock King, and the 3 immortals. Each one of them was a top-tier powerhouse in the nascent soul or martial king realm. Yet, they all fell to Lin Fei's blade. After the interlude with the Vermilion Bird clan, the atmosphere in the Feng clan became even more lively. Many powers wanted to seize the opportunity to get closer to the Feng clan and ancient origin sect. Everyone waited, hoping to witness the legendary ancient origin Saber King. Was he really that powerful, possessing the might to shake the ancient world and suppress all nascent soul and martial king great beings? There were even whispers naming him the #1 martial king of ancient times. Such a title was no ordinary honor. In the vast expanse of the ancient continent's history, who had ever been named the first nascent soul or first martial king? None. The ancient continent was vast and its history was lengthy. While there were standout nascent soul great beings and martial kings, none had commanded such respect as Lin Fei. Ancient origin Saber King, Lin Fei, accompanied by various martial sovereigns of the ancient origin sect, has arrived. Then, a voice echoed from the void. Whoosh! Everyone eagerly looked up to the sky. The ancient origin Saber King Lin Fei had finally arrived.